Hello everyone, my name is LaPorta and this is my story. On July 21st, 2000, at 11 years old, I slipped and fell headfirst into my above-ground swimming pool in my backyard and shattered my C5 vertebrae. On that day, I suffered what is known as a spinal cord injury. Once I hit the bottom of the pool, everything went numb and I could not move any part of my body. Everything felt dislocated. To my friends, it looked like I was doing the quote-unquote dead man's float, but in fact, I was drowning, thinking to myself, am I going to die today? Thankfully, my friend Ashley used her instincts and knew something was wrong. She shouted to my friend Meg to go check on me. Meg flipped me over, and with the breath I had left, I told her to hold me up, that I couldn't move. Ashley ran and alerted my dad, who was inside my childhood home at the time. My dad jumped into the pool immediately when he saw my helpless body and placed me on a boogie board. Minutes later, I was throwing up water as the EMTs carried me out of the pool. It is a big blur from that moment on, but I believe that I had guardian angels and heroes on my side ever since. From the 4-hour surgery to remove the shattered bone fragments in my neck, to having to undergo a tracheotomy because my lungs collapsed due to the ingestion of water and being unable to breathe on my own, to the feeding tube that was placed in my stomach so I could stay nourished during the tracheotomy and being unable to eat. You would think all these medical issues were insurmountable, but little did I know I was going to face the biggest fight of my life at just 11 years old. Being paralyzed from the neck down is truly an indescribable feeling, and it's hard for me to put into words even at this very moment. But I was a real-life ragdoll. All of your independence is stripped away, and you are forced to rely on others for the simplest tasks. Thankfully, though, by the grace of God and the love and support from my family, friends, and the Bergenfield community, as well as phenomenal surgeons and therapists, I began to ever so slightly gain back movement. I'll never forget sitting with my dad in the community room at Children's Specialized Hospital, watching those goddamn New York Jets. If you're a Jets fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, I was able to move a finger on my right hand. I am forever blessed to have the mother that I do, and she deserves this little paragraph of recognition. But all that recognition in the world will never be enough to thank her for the very best of a mother's love. This woman has single-handedly given me the courage and strength to keep fighting through it all, and she continues to do this for me 21 years later. Especially on the days I still cannot mentally comprehend my physical limitations. She is a bull, always fighting for me to receive physical therapy whenever they would try to cancel on me. She took me to all the specialized hospitals in the neighboring states to see if they could help me further advance my mobility, all while being the selfless mother that she is to my 2 other sisters. I know I would have not been able to overcome all the obstacles I have faced thus far in my life as a wheelchair user without her. As you can see through this little presentation of my life, there's only one picture of my hospital stay in the ICU at Hackensack University Medical Center for that one never-ending month during the summer of 2000. There are very few pictures, if any, from my stay at Children's Specialized Hospital in Mountainside, New Jersey, as we were just trying to stay positive every day. Whether it was learning how to hold a fork by myself again, being fitted for leg braces, being transferred in and out of a hospital bed or shower with the help of a special machine. Countless hours of physical and occupational therapies. Standing up in a standing frame so I could get my blood circulating properly. It all became a routine which I would never want anyone to ever have to endure. Those first few months and the years following have and continue to be the most unique experience anyone could have unless in my actual situation. It is my own story and a challenge I have to face every day from the moment I wake up and transfer into my wheelchair. Even though I have a spinal cord injury, I am blessed, unlike many who have faced a similar injury, to live a full and independent life. Today's independent life did not come without some fractured toes, banged up elbows and bruises on my head, It did not come without being stranded on a college campus due to either falling in the bathroom stall, falling out of my wheelchair, due to hitting a little curb, and having some male angel show up out of nowhere to get you up. And you just had to head to class like nothing happened, or getting stranded because your handicap accessible vehicle broke down on you. It did not come without crying myself to sleep some nights, or without wanting a quote-unquote break from my broken body, as I call it. It did not come without years of physical and occupational therapy, but it did have its moments of pure joy. Joy when standing up on my own for the first time or taking that first little step. Joy when I got my license and my first handicap accessible vehicle because of my loving grandparents. Joy with walking across the podium my senior year of high school to a standing ovation from my family, friends, and classmates that stood by me. Joy when I graduated from William Patterson University with my bachelor's degree and went on to further my education at Kane University to receive my master's degree. During my time at Kane, I had the pure joy of being able to work with the men's basketball team as their graduate assistant. For 3 years, those boys brought me such fulfillment. I also made some strong bonds with strong females who now have become some of my best and lifelong friends. That master's degree also gave me a newfound purpose as a school counselor. The joy I get from my career is truly one in a million. I get to work with high schoolers that bring me pure joy every day and help me forget about being uncomfortable in my body, sometimes even forgetting that I do have a physical disability. Because, like my family and friends, those kids see far beyond the wheelchair and are able to trust me with their deepest fears, obstacles, triumphs, and of course, their joy. Elated when I was able to buy a condominium with my sister, and for the first time in my life, have my living arrangements all accessible to my physical needs. Not only have I been able to overlook all the dark moments in my life, I have got to watch my sisters accomplish so much in their lives as well. I find pure joy watching my one sister become a successful cosmetologist and find the love of her life, while the other one has started to live her life independently in Hoboken and get that big job that she has been praying for. They both work so hard, and I am forever grateful and blessed to call them my sisters, my best friends. I can continue to probably go on for hours, and there are so many stories from my 21 years as a wheelchair user. But I won't bore you all with the sad, happy, angry, cynical, unjust, and ignorant encounters, but I will give you a few facts before I end my little story. A spinal cord injury means much more than losing your ability to walk. A spinal cord injury affects your indigestion, bladder and bowels, breathing, heart rate, blood flow, and even your temperature regulation. The cervical segments of the spinal cord, C1 through C8, are responsible for breathing, neck and shoulder movements, as well as your upper limb control. 400,000 of us are paralyzed by a spinal cord injury around the world every year. Spinal cord injuries usually occur from motorcycle accidents, cycling accidents, horse riding accidents, a spinal stroke, diving in shallow water like I so lovely did to myself, a workplace fall, or disc degeneration. Even though at 11 years old, my life was altered as a result of an accident, I have strived to remain positive and will continue to live a full life of love and commitment. I will remain happy and live life to the fullest and hope that someday science will be able to help me walk unassisted again. Thank you for listening.